when I see those industry plant allegations, something in me lights up.
Did you know that Kendrick was gonna be on that song at the time that you kind of recorded your part of it?
I definitely didn't know if I was gonna be on the song. Like, I was more worried about that, to be honest. I was like,
Most people got introduced to Momo Boyd through her feature on Baby Keem's Casino earlier this year.
Don't you love a good flirt with a stranger? Don't you love letting out a good cry, baby? Ain't coming home on a Friday night. I'm all good, my hips still whine.
Others might know her as part of the sibling rock band Infinity Song. But as a solo artist, Momo Boyd is still a bit of a mystery to many. And the more people hear, the more they want to know.
I want to have like my impact be embedded in the fabric of society and culture, and I want people to see themselves in me across the globe. And the best way to do that is to be super famous.
Hi, my name is Elsie, and I'm here today with the talented
Momo Boyd.
I'm very excited to be here. I love your work. I've been following you since when you performed Sunday service.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so a while ago, and then with Infinity Song, and then you had like the Haters anthem, Blow Up, and then this year, there's been a lot happening for you. How are you taking everything in?
I'm just trying to take everything in stride and do my best. I think this is one of those moments that people dream of, I've dreamed of, you know, where everybody's kind of like looking at you and curious, like, who is this girl? What does she have to say? What is, you know, what does she have to offer to the landscape of music and the industry as a whole? And so I am just kind of trying to keep my head down and do the work and hopefully allow it to speak for me. So that's just kind of been the whole year so far. It's been a very long year.
I'm guessing it's so surreal, like your feature on Good Flirt was your first feature ever.
Yeah.
Like on a Baby Keem album.
Yeah.
Did you ever like envision that happening?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Not specifically that feature, but I've always had like big dreams and like visions for myself, and so I've always just kind of thrown my expectations really far.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we, at least in our dreams, we have to be like the best versions of ourselves that we can ever be. Can you tell me how that feature like came about with Baby Keem?
Yeah, it was pretty organic. So I'm sure you're familiar with Dave Free.
Yes, I am.
Of course, like icon. Well, we had started following each other like years ago, I think back in 2022. And he basically had sent me a message saying, like, complimenting my voice and saying like he really thinks that I have a bright future in music. And it was so crazy to me because the post that he was referring to, or like that he like sent and was like, this is really good, was a post from like 2018. And I was cringing because I always cringe at myself. Like in the moment I'm like, I ate that. But then obviously you get older. Right. So like it had been like 4 years. I was like, this isn't even, you know,
recent.
Exactly. It's not recent. It's not as good as I am right now. So like the fact that he's like seeing the potential in that like in that version of me, I was like, okay, I guess, sure. But then we just, you know, had continued like an acquaintanceship and just very loose. We had just never met though. And then in fall of last year, me and my siblings were on a tour, North American tour. So we were hitting so many different states, and we were going to LA. And the crazy thing, so he never posts, obviously.
He never does,
Like, he just has the Instagram. You never post, which is good, do your thing. Maybe like once or twice a year, if it's a good year. So it just so happened that he posted something the day before our LA show. And obviously that was divine because it reminded me, I was like, oh my gosh, like he lives in LA, like I should invite him to the show. Had he not posted that, I would have never invited him to the show and we wouldn't be here today. You know, so sometimes, sometimes, you know, it's good to post so that life can do its thing. But yeah, he posted something. I was like, oh my gosh, like, we're in LA, we're having a show. It'd be so cool if he came to the show. Like, no expectations, just like, you know.
Let me see what happens.
Exactly. So I sent him a DM, super last minute. He was so cool. He was like, let me see if I can, you know, find some time in my schedule. And he did. He came.
Oh, wow.
Literally so last minute. And kind of the rest was history. I think, like, I always say you really get a good picture of, like, me and of my siblings when you see us live. Like, recording is one thing, and, like, the videos is one thing, but the live experience and, like, the gravity of, you know, how seriously we take a live performance and, like, the emotion that carries live.
I feel like you also feel the energy when you're in the room.
It's just completely different, and we really try to leave it all out there. So I always encourage everybody, like, come see a show, then form an opinion. But you really, you know, you really don't know Infinity Song. You don't know us. You don't know me until you've seen that live show, because it's like such a big piece of the pie. So he came, he saw the live show, and I think that, you know, obviously that was enough to, like,
convince, like, okay, not even convinced, because he was already convinced at this point, but, like, certified.
Exactly. Yeah. You just see the vision in just a more, like, broad way. And so I think from there, he was just like, yo, like, there's this girl, like, she's really talented. And obviously I don't know what he said. I don't know what was said, but all I know is I was on the song.
Wow. Did you know that Kendrick was going to be on that song at the time that you kind of recorded your part of it?
I think it was in the air, but there was nothing certain. I definitely didn't know if I was going to be on the song. Like, I was more worried about that, to be honest. I was like, whether he's on it or not, like, that's kind of irrelevant. I didn't even thinking about if I'm going to be on it.
Actually, that's facts.
Obviously, like, you know, if it came out that he was going to be on it, like, that was going to be a big deal. But, like, that's kind of secondary.
Like, I hope my verse makes it at least, right? Because it happens. I've seen a lot of artists, you know, where you're really hoping for your verse to be featured on something and then it doesn't come out. I think it was amazing.
Yeah.
That you were, like, one of the only features on that album. So you really had a spotlight in a way that an album that had, like, so many people featured on it, you wouldn't have gotten that same thing.
Right.
Yeah. Fast forward, song is out. I love your verse. One thing that really surprised me, though, was that song is really R&B in a way. And when you dropped American Love Song the last year, that song doesn't exist in an R&B realm. Yeah. And then even the soft rock that you do with Infinity Song. So I think it's really interesting that a lot of people were introduced to you with that, like, that genre, I would say. How do you feel about that? Because I feel like even hearing your most recent single, Strong, is another side of you. But how do you feel about the people that were introduced to you with this Keem feature and might have expectations for, like, how you sound?
I think it's really fun. I think the whole point of music is to be, or at least for me, not for everybody, but my ethos in music is to try things. And you know, that's why I love alternative music so much, is because there are no bounds. There's no boundaries. Like, I listen to punk, I listen to soul, I listen to jazz. There are so many things that I listen to, and so being able to have another representation of what I could do is really exciting. Even if it's not all the time that I go there, it's like, it exists, and now you know it exists. And then tomorrow when I do something completely different as well, you'll know that exists. And that's really, like, of course I want to have, like, a signature sound, but, you know, some of my favorite artists that I admire, they really, like, push themselves, you know, and they really have fun with the art form, you know, like, there's a lot of pressure, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's creativity. Even Keem, like, he's
That's true.
really, really, it's just fun, you know?
That's true.
Obviously, there's a gravity to it, and it's your life, and you're telling your story and all of those things, but, you know, I really just admire people who, at the end of the day, they put those boxes to the side. You know, Beyonce, you know, she's been doing so many genres since the beginning of her career.
That's facts.
I was just reading, like, this quote from a magazine, and she was like, yeah, I I can sing like the rappers, I can do rock.
How far back?
It was like 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I can sing like the rappers, I can do rock, I can write, I can do it all. And I just want to show everybody that I can do it all. And I was like, exactly, like, that's really what it is. It's just capturing the fullness of humanity. And I think a lot of times as artists, as women, as Black people, there's like a very specific type of
people want to put you in a certain box.
Exactly. They want you to, you know, cater to their expectations. And, you know, that's fine. That's human nature at times. But, you know, I think it's my job to just be free, you know, and live
yourself.
fully. Exactly. Right. And not really, and I understand that there are expectations, but like, you know, that's cool. Great, thanks. But
I'm going to do me, basically.
Exactly. So.
Of course, you put out this tweet, I would say a few days ago to a week ago, you know, the industry plant allegations. Of course, people that aren't acquainted with you be like, oh my God, she's an industry plant. And I really love the way that you address that. What goes through your mind?
So the funny thing about the tweet that I put out, people thought I was being sarcastic. I was being dead serious. And I realized, like, okay, it came off in a sarcastic way, but I actually was being dead serious. Like, when I see those industry plant allegations, something in me lights up.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I light up because I know, like, I watch this happen time and time again. Once you start getting that allegations, that just means you're coming across people's screens like 10 times more, like, you know, than you ever have. And they can't get away from your face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that means it's my time.
That's a good sign.
Exactly.
That's a good
So, like, I would rather have industry plant allegations than like no noise.
Nothing happening. Right. At least people are talking.
Exactly. So I mean, there's no way to control people, what they think, their perception, none of that. So I try to take everything that I see on the internet with a grain of salt. Like, it does not stop me from like doing my job and doing what I have to do. But with those specific ones, I was like, wait, they're kind of picking up. Wait, this is really good. Like, I'm so excited. And then there was a tweet where somebody was like, Momo was about to start getting industry plant allegations. I'm so proud of her.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, I kind of wear, like, it's kind of a badge of honor at this point because you know exactly what it means. Like, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what they mean when they say that. All I know is I'm up.
I love that. That's always like, I feel like what you said, the internet is always going to talk.
Right.
So, I mean.
Or they're not going to talk, which is worse.
That's so true. I want to ask, like, because I was reading an interview of yours and you compared going solo to like leaving home for the first time. And just being a part of a band still and like also releasing your own solo music, how's it been like just navigating that like middle ground?
It's obviously been a lot to juggle. Like, they're literally two careers.
Yeah.
You know, and although we intersect in certain ways, we're still very different. Like, my individual expression is just naturally going to be different from a group of people's expression. And so in that way, it can be just a lot to manage, but it is made easier because my siblings are so like supportive, you know. Like, they are rooting for me every step of the way, and like when if I can't show up to this, or you know, if I have to be in the studio a little after them, or you know, just these things that go into the everyday, they're like super understanding and just making it work. And then I think we all just want each other to win no matter what it looks like. So that makes it a lot easier. But, you know, I think just it all like resting on my shoulders is just different as well. Like, having like these teammates to like think of all these ideas with, and like, you know, okay, if I'm not inspired to write today, at least
maybe
my brother.
Someone else is inspired.
Exactly. So we still got a good song at the end of the day. You know?
But by yourself, it's a little different. Like,
exactly.
I would say maybe pressure might be a little bit more sometimes.
Yeah, a bit, but it's nothing I haven't prayed for. So I
like that.
You know.
One thing I've realized with at least most of your music and the 2 solo songs that you've put out now is both are about love, but 2 different sides, I would say. I love the way that you write about love. I feel like it's so real. It feels like stream of consciousness. Do you find writing about love like therapeutic, or do you find it like challenging in a way?
Definitely therapeutic. But what's crazy is I don't even think about it. I don't even think about like, oh my gosh, I'm writing another sad love song or like another heartbreak song. Like, I also don't think about it in terms of like another person. Which sounds like it doesn't make any sense. But I'm very self-centered in my writing. I'm very self-centered in my art. So even if there is like a situation that I'm writing about, I'm less thinking about the other person and I'm more thinking of them as a mirror to reflect me back to me. You know, using them as a way to learn about myself. And I really think that is what like dating is in general, and that's what love is in general. People are reflections of yourself, and like how you perceive them is more often than not how you perceive yourself, and your interactions with them and the way that things play out a lot of times. Obviously, God forbid, it's like a crazy person.
Then you can't account for that.
No, like we're talking about, you know, within the
real people,
realm of normalcy. Like, you know, just everyday heartbreak, y'all. Nobody crazy. A lot of times these interactions and these experiences are really reflections of like, you know, your inner world and how you view yourself, and you know, what you allow is how you view yourself. And I just view it all as a case study. Like, let's
I feel like
study
that's
Momo.
a good way to look at it. It's like, what can I get from this?
No, yeah. I mean, after the fact,
Gotta feel your feelings first and then process that.
Exactly.
Obviously.
But just, I think with my music, it, specifically like American Love Song or like some of these things that are a bit more on the commentary side, it's because I do a lot of thinking. You know, I do a lot of thinking about the situation, and I try to look at it more big picture than like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. At first, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. But then after that, it's like, okay, now what?
What comes out from this?
Exactly, and what did that mean, and why did that happen? You know, so.
I remember when American Love Song dropped, and there was just a lot of like internet commentary. I think that was the first time that I was like, oh my God, the way people engage with art these days is just very interesting.
Yeah.
But I love the way that you have kind of like coasted on everything. It gives professional.
I try. You know, I tried to go to the Beyonce school of, you know, PR unbothered. Or even like, you know, sometimes these things, they can affect me. I'm not gonna act like I'm just completely detached from words and what people say and perception. I think specifically that song, because it was my first solo song, and it was my first time like being perceived outside of my siblings and not having like my siblings around to like also be perceived along with me. And also knowing like my thoughts behind the song and the visual, and then seeing people kind of like, some people kind of twist it that completely. It was like, whoa. And I think that was my first time like experiencing that at that level. So that was a bit tough, but I think at the end of the day, in terms of what I communicate back to the people, is like, I would rather the people who do love me and who do see what I'm trying to do feel encouraged that I'm gonna keep going than me like be out here lashing out. Like, I can't be doing that.
She's crashing out. Oh my God.
Like, no, like, we can, you know, calmly address it if we choose, but at the end of the day, like, this is for me, this is for my people, and hopefully at some point you understand what I'm doing. If not, that's fine. Rising above it and like taking it as like, okay, that sucks, but like, it's kind of funny at the end of the day.
I mean, life goes on.
Exactly.
Right. That music video was beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
I want to say that. Like, artistic direction, great. You did this, like an acoustic version. I played that version more, actually. I loved that version.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, period.
I loved that version. So I just want to say that. That's just side note. Like, I love that. I want to get into what you were listening to growing up, because it seems like you had such a wide range of influences. Like, what were like the go-to artists, songs, albums for you, like growing up?
I didn't really listen to music like on my own terms.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
I was just really listening to what my parents were listening to, like all my siblings. Like, I really didn't have like, we weren't really on the internet or like doing too, like pop culture didn't really exist that much with us. It was like very specific things, like just in the car listening to like Bob James or Earth, Wind and Fire or Aretha Franklin or CeCe Winans or BB Winans, the Winans family, Fred Hammond, like a lot of gospel, a lot of jazz, a lot, Pat Metheny, a lot of world music, just really like foundational genres, like pop did not exist.
Oh, wow.
Except through like, I don't know, like Disney Channel, like TV, like, okay, Hannah Montana,
of course.
like, that's my star, like, that's really the pop star, or Raven.
I think for a lot of kids, that's not talked about enough, how Disney kind of like built that pop side.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Raven, Simone, please. Yeah. Like, I needed to be her, you know? So like those girls were my superstars. But other than that, it was really like a lot of like soul, jazz, classical, gospel.
What does your current rotation look like now, though?
Can I look at my phone?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if you're familiar with Geese.
Spell it.
Geese, like the geese. Like geese. Like the animal.
You know what? I might not. Wait, like the animal or like a band?
Well, the band is named after.
So it seems like you're familiar.
The album Killing.
Yeah, Getting Killed.
I'm not tapped in.
The guy's pointing
the gun.
I feel like I might know like what the album cover looks like, but I might not just register the artist.
Well, they're a New York rock band, and they just had a really good album that like really blew up in like the rock world last year.
Check that out.
I really am enjoying it. Sometimes when there's a lot of hype, I'm like, let me see for myself. Like, let me see what you're about.
Gotta form your own opinion.
They pulled me in. Like, the music is just that good, you know? And then the lead singer, Cameron Winter, like, he put out his own solo album as well, and that's also insanely good.
Okay, fire.
So those have really inspired me, both of those albums. Yesterday I was listening to a lot of Max B.
Well, that good choice.
Which is like completely on the other side of the spectrum of things, but honestly, like really good music. Like what, you know? I really love distinctive voices. Voices that stop you in your tracks. So Cameron Winter just has like a crazy soulful voice that he's like 23 or something, but he sounds like he's 70, which is so cool. Like obviously like it's a lot sometimes, but it's really, really good. Okay, other than that.
Speaking of unique voices, are you familiar with Baby Rose?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. She reminds me like what you just said, like sounds like she's like
75.
Yeah, but like her voice is,
but like so young. Yeah. And you're like, where's that coming from? Exactly. I love voices like that. Okay, I also love, have you heard of this punk band named Amyl and the Sniffers?
I have.
Oh.
Okay, at least I know that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I've been fans of them for maybe like 4 years. I need to see them live. I need to get in the pit. I really love them. I really love Amy Taylor, the lead. She is just so like punk rock to me and like iconic, like outspoken. Her fashion choices are just uninhibited, like she does not care. Like she's just free. You know, that's just really cool to me. I like freedom. I like people who are free within themselves and express themselves freely. I also like Turnstile. Do you know Turnstile?
I know Turnstile, yes.
I love Turnstile. Yes. Also discovered them like 4 years ago, and I was just like, this is really cool. I love people who like build worlds around their music. And Turnstile, like
does that really well.
The lead singer, he directs all their visuals. And
I didn't know that. Okay.
He's crazy. Wow. In a good way, obviously. So like just finding, you know, I like people who are multifaceted in their art. There's another like rock band named Wet Leg.
No, haven't heard of
it. It's like also led by a woman, and she also similarly like is very free with her expression, and they also direct their visuals as well. Audrey Hobart. Are you familiar with her?
That name sounds very familiar.
She
I might know
has
her
a
face.
really good album.
I'm so bad with names.
It's a really good album. I love her vibe.
What's the album called?
Who's the Clown?
Okay. You're putting me on.
No, it's a lot of people. And then I've also been listening to a lot of Luther Vandross. Just on
classic.
repeat.
Okay,
just,
of course.
Come on.
You can't go wrong with that.
And then I was getting back into the Melodic Blue by Keem. Like revisiting that. Like,
what's your favorite song off
classic.
the album?
I like No Sense.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a sleeper for people, whatever. I really like that song.
I wouldn't say it's a sleeper. I've seen a lot of people like that song. But it's not one of the more popular ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I really like that one.
Yeah.
It just has a really like beautiful like feel to it. So I like beautiful music.
Nice. What's it like being in a band with your siblings? Like, how did that, how did it form? Was it just naturally like y'all just like, because all my siblings, my dad made all of us learn an instrument. So we used to like play band when we were little. We're just like 3 at that point. But you come from a family of 8 kids?
There's 9 including me,
you.
9. Yeah.
Right. So how does it feel like how did that band come together?
It was pretty natural. Like we sang together all of our lives. It was really just like the thing to do. Our parents were very serious about like education and like working your mind and learning new things and using creativity as like a medium for that.
Okay.
I really didn't know anything other than music, because I'm on the younger side of the family. I'm number 7. So it was already established before I was born.
Before you came to
I'm like, I guess it's just what we're doing. So that was already the thing, and I was like young and trying to like find my voice in the thing. Like, I had all my sisters and they had their own unique voices, and I was like, okay, well, what's my voice gonna be like? But then when it came to like doing it commercially, that was a whole other thing. That's a whole other commitment. It's a whole other thing than just like growing up musical. Like you have to really like
commit to it. Yeah.
Commit, really.
Yeah.
So that was also pretty natural as well, though. Like, yeah, I mean, Infinity Song was formed when I was in like high school.
Wow.
So
that's like more than a decade ago. Wow.
Literally a decade ago.
Wow. So you're and I think it's worth mentioning that. And I love the fact that you emphasize that, because being in a band means a lot of practice, a lot of touring, a lot of just recording. And at this point, you have a decade of experience. Like, you're really seasoned, which a lot of people, I would say, your age, don't have that amount of experience under their belt. So I feel like that gives you an edge.
But it's more than, I feel like the recording and the singing and the practicing, I'm not going to say that those are the easier things, but those things revolve around the art form, which makes them that's not really what the music business is. It drives music business, but like there's so much more that goes into being a valid person in the industry than those things. And like that's why it's so impressive when people have these 30-year careers like Beyonce, or because there is so much more that goes into it than just the songs, the music. And you watch her documentaries and she's like in every single detail every day, day in and day out, of the production, the stage, the lighting, the business side, the back end, the contracts,
So much.
So it really is like, those are the things that make or break or determine whether or not you have longevity. Obviously the music is king. Like if you don't have music that anybody wants to listen to, forget it, wrap it up. But you can have those and still not, have the
career.
A career that like is trustworthy and people want to bet on. So learning those things, I feel, has been just as much of a learning curve and like an experience as learning, the art form. because you kind of can't do one without the other, or you know, you risk being taken advantage of, you risk like signing this deal that you can't get out of. Exactly, you risk all of these different things. So just staying present in every aspect is something that, you know, you got to learn, and like taking control of your image, you know, like that's really big, what your storytelling and what it is you're trying to communicate to the audience, you know, that's a lot of stuff that people in the past haven't had like control over. But if you want control over it, you have to be very like sure of yourself, very hands-on, very confident. You have to know what you're doing, you know, you have to prove yourself. So all of these different things go into a career these days. And then tack on it like social skills and like learning how to speak to people and learning how to be personable. And like, obviously if you're a personable person, like that shouldn't be too hard. But sometimes you don't want to do that, you know, but just learning the art and the finesse of making all of these things work. And especially when you're doing things with your family, like we're professionals, but we're family.
And that's a line
exactly.
to walk, really.
Exactly. So like learning that as well, learning how to talk to each other so that we can get business done. And like, you know, don't talk to me like I'm your little sister. Talk to me like I'm an equal, you know? Right. So like just all of those different things, it's a learning process, and you refine until you've hit your stride. And when you hit your stride, the world reacts, you know, and the world feels that, and the external reflects the internal. And so it's a never-ending process of reaching that like homeostasis, I would say, or like that equilibrium internally, because it is all interconnected.
What would you say is like the most important lesson that you've kind of like had to learn and you now carry with you over like this period of experience that you've had, really?
I've been learning for the past like several years to like trust myself, trust my taste, trust I know what feels good for me, whether that's how I dress, you know, the types of clothes I wear, the way I do my makeup, the way I do my hair, like not thinking like, okay, somebody like a big Hollywood stylist or somebody is gonna come and like
run the show,
make me a star, you know, and like, please do, like, like, you know, like, obviously there's time and place for that, but understanding that you have exactly what you need, you know, you are who you need to be for the opportunities that you're meant to have at this moment, and not doubting that, like, even with the opportunity of, you know, Good Flirts and being on that track, it was like, well, are you guys sure? Are you sure, like, I'm the right person? Like, guys, what?
You had those thoughts?
I know.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
But it just, you know, momentarily, you always have to remind yourself. I think it's...
I'm meant to be here.
Exactly. Like, not letting the imposter syndrome, not letting the self-sabotage or those types of negative thoughts run the show. Being like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So that's what I've learned over the past several years. But this year, I'm learning something a bit different.
Okay.
I'm learning, okay, yeah, you know what you're doing, and that's good.
Okay.
You set the scene. We love it for you. Now, what else? You know? And so I've had to push myself a lot this year, out of my comfort zone in the studio, or even like the amount of work that I'm doing, like working on 2 tracks with my siblings and, you know, like doing double sessions, you know, 16-hour days.
Dedication. Oh my God.
So like this year I feel is like, okay, you set the foundation for who you are and like this template of who you are. Now, how can we push it further? How can you get a little bit more uncomfortable? How can you squirm in your seat and be like, you know, I don't know about this.
Because it's in that discomfort that growth happens.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing a lot of that. I've been in the studio cringing like, guys, was that lame? They're like, no, it was fire. I'm like, oh.
I'm excited. Like, hopefully we're getting some new music soon. Are we getting some new music soon?
We are.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay. Let me probe a little bit. Are we getting like new songs or like a total project or?
So definitely new songs and also potentially a project, but not an album right now. Not from me. The band Infinity Song, we're working on an album.
Okay.
I'm working on an EP. I just want to introduce myself outside of like literally 2 songs, you know, and like actually have something to like build a world around and you know, just give the people a little bit more storytelling. So that will be coming pretty soon.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, I got to hear a bit of that. But this is surreal for me. And I look at myself as someone that's really on the pulse. A lot of people that I've sat down with over the last couple years have been people on the verge of like something huge. I remember sitting down with Raven Lenae in 2024, just before that, and I remember talking to her and just being like, I think you're on the verge of something huge. Do you want that superstardom, Beyonce, basically? And I asked her that question, and I want to ask you that same question. Like, do you see that for yourself? Because there's a lot of artists that are successful in their own right, and there's the extreme superstardom. Is that something that you want for yourself at some point?
Well, yes. I don't know why I thought about that. I don't know why I was acting like I was thinking. Like the answer is yes, obviously. But I just think it will obviously manifest itself in a different way. Obviously, everybody has their own path. I want to have like my impact be embedded in the fabric of society and culture, and I want people to see themselves in me across the globe and across like genres and across like all of these different things that like separate us. I want people to really just feel like seen and heard by my presence. And the best way to do that is to be super famous. So
that is
gotta get to that.
I like that actually. You gotta give and take. Whatever you want, there's always gonna be, it's like scales. You just gotta pick your battles, basically.
Yeah, it really is like, it's twofold because obviously I grew up in like an era where celebrity was really king. And so
it's a bit different now.
It is different. Yeah. It is. But when I was growing up, celebrity was king. So obviously a lot of us grew up wanting to be famous. Like, we were all like, when I'm famous. But so like obviously there's that whole dream of like the fashion, the cover shoots and the glamour, the glitz, all of that, lights, camera, action, and all of that. But that doesn't really carry you unless you have a deeper purpose, because it is a lot of hard work. You know, it's not just.
And a lot of people crumble under the pressure.
Exactly. So if you don't have a second reason to be doing it, you can like fail. So my second reason is to be that like point of reference for people. Like I have so many point of references when I was growing up that made me feel valid in my life experience and made me feel like, oh, okay, like life is cool. I guess life is not falling apart. Like I'm 13 and like I hate life, but like, you know, I put Corinne Bailey Rae on. And she's talking about 3 little birds out on my window, you know? And so like life is okay, you know? And she's singing a song that's so beautiful and so relevant to me that I feel better about life, you know, and this album is perfect from top to bottom. Like,
I think it's very interesting because I
saw that before. I was like, wait, but it is really moments like that that are priceless, and you really can't quantify that because you're only in your life.
That's so true.
And Corinne Bailey Rae doesn't have a single clue how much she's impacted me,
people,
you know, or other girls like me. And she will never know. She can't know. She only lives her life with her family and her kids and stuff. But it does exist, you know. And so that's the other side of things of like, okay, like.
That's very valid. Yeah. It's bigger than you.
Exactly. It's service. It's like serving, and you know, you don't always see the impact of being a person who gives but you did your best. And so that's the other side. Like, yeah, like, girl, I want to be Fashion Week front row, whatever. But also this other side of things, and that's what's the driver, and that's what gets me up in the morning.
I love that.
And that's what keeps me going through the like stuff on the internet. I'm like, y'all is really not my target audience. So it really doesn't matter.
Life goes on. Like, whatever. The internet has such a short attention span. Like,
exactly.
Y'all can go on. Tomorrow it'll be another topic. So I think that's one thing I've learned. But I'm so happy to be able to sit with you to pick your brain. And I'm excited to hear the EP, the songs, everything you have for us. And just to close it off, like, where do you see yourself, like, in 10 years?
10 years, wow. That's a very hard question to answer because I really don't know.
I think that's a valid answer.
I really don't know.
I think that's a valid answer.
I mean, I can only hope that I'm still blessed to work on things that I care about. Because it's not a given,
It's not.
Like, I mean, obviously work is hard, but work in the arts at least, work is a privilege.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Having a job in this space,
it's like a luxury. Like, so I'm like, hopefully I'm still employed in the field that I love, and just doing my best in that.
I definitely think that would be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do want to preview.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to say it. I just
okay, because I kind of felt that. I was like, maybe she's shy. I get it. I'm shy too.
I would love to hear the new music.
Okay.
Can we preview it?
Yes.
Great.
I can preview. I'm going to play one song. It's a bit different, but also similar to some of the stuff, but still different, which is not really an answer. But this song is called... This song is called Big Country.
Big Country. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I'm scared.
It's a big, big country with too many cities, and I keep on waiting for a perfect person who's gonna love me, but never got above me in this big, big country, in this whole wide world. I walk for miles and miles and broken eyes looking for you. I switch the bathroom stalls and hotel rooms and supermarket. I drove from state to state, gas station and small down houses. I walk through parking lots and vintage shops and Oklahoma. I went through LA, almost didn't make it back alive. Yeah, I've been looking for you.
Wow. You have such a unique vocal texture.
Thank you.
Like, your voice is very unique. I don't know if you get that a lot.
I do.
Like, your voice is not like an everyday voice. Like, there's some voices I hear, I'm like, you sound good, but I think I've heard this before, but you have a very distinct tone.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was fire. Also, let me just nerd out a little bit. I really like, one thing I love about your music, and I heard here, you just have a way with chords. Like, you just have very simple chords, but like they just strike the right like emotion. Yeah, I love that.
I try. Thank you.
Yeah, Big Country. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. If that's a glimpse of like what we're about to get, I feel like we're gonna eat good.
I think so. I'm really happy
Yeah.
with the project. I really
Yeah.
am. So
All right.
I'm nervous though.
Well,
We'll see.
soon we'll see. But yeah, thank you again for having me, and it's a wrap.